So if you've been following along on this journey, I had this 911T built to spec about 6 months ago. And I gotta say, I love the fact that it is now here. This thing is better in person than I could have ever dreamed. Yes, you can always jump up to an S. I was initially trying to get a GTS, but the allocations were just so hard and they wanted these markups. I was able to find this car with no markup down in Houston, North Houston dealership. And I gotta say, I mean, look at it, it looks amazing. We did spec it out to the way we wanted it. So to a lot of hate and controversy, I did spec it with the PDK. I know I've driven sticks, I love driving sticks, but for the purpose of this car, long road trips, my wife likes to drive it. I just really felt the PDK was the way to go. Plus the stick version of this is a 7-speed and it does 0 to 60 in 4.0 seconds. The PDK, on the other hand, will do 3.7. So I think that's a pretty big jump. And I'm actually probably gonna tune this in the future, so definitely stay tuned. I also have a new wing that's going on here soon. So if you're new to the channel, definitely go subscribe, like it, and kind of watch this build. See how it kind of develops, how it turns out. I'm really excited for this car. I've been meeting a lot of new people and going out on the streets. I think I'm up to about 1,000 miles now. I've had the car for a month, and I gotta say, it is everything I've ever dreamed of. The 911T is a very, very special car, and if it's on your radar, if you're thinking about it, definitely do it. I think it's a much better jump from the 911 base Carrera because of everything that you can add on to it and some of the stock stuff that it comes with. So let's dive into the car, check it out, go for a ride, and you know what? Hopefully you learned something from this video. Maybe it changes your mind on what direction you want to go for your 911. This is my first 911, so this is my journey, and hopefully you enjoy it. Let's go. And here it is, our 2024 911T Porsche, and we gotta say, we're pretty happy with the way this came out. This is in Guards Red, and for all those new Porsche heads out there getting into the world of 911, for the 911T, the way you can tell right off the bat what it is will be those gray accent colors. See the gray mirror caps and the gray wheels. These are actually the RS wheels that you can spec out, and I must say they look absolutely fantastic. So you might be asking yourself, what is the 911T? What makes it different? Well, I'll jump into it. The 911T is approximately 100 pounds lighter from the standard Carrera. Now that is if you option out the stick, the standard. I did not, so that added about 25 to 30 pounds, which I'm okay with because the car is considerably faster. Another thing that a lot of people don't know about the 911T is, well, the glass. The glass actually comes from the GT3 RS. It is lightweight, very, very thin, so much so that it actually chips. That is my one huge gripe about the 911T. It chips very, very easy. So for the 911T in 2024, not much changes from the prior year. We still have all the gray accents throughout. The black sport exhaust is stock. I will say I really do like that oval design. Now you can see inside that it is just a normal exhaust pipe out the back. The exterior circle is just really for looks. The 911T badging is in the gray color along with the Porsche logo, which I really appreciate. And if you know anything about the 992 911, you'll know that these slits back here actually are hidden in Easter egg. The 9 slots here, the 9 slits here, and then the 2 here for 992, or you can go 911 911. Really cool little Easter egg. So with my 911, I did upgrade quite a bit, about $20,000 worth, which in the grand scheme of Porsche, that might not be a lot. I did keep the standard front fascia. I thought that was sufficient. It looked nice. And a couple options that I did end up choosing. Really, I just didn't feel like I needed a whole sport front fascia. I might down the road change it out, but who knows. I also stayed with the standard lights that come on the car. The upgraded options were quite expensive. You could jump them up for 2,000 to 3,000 all the way up to, I believe it was like 5 or 7. These are very, very good for stock lights. I have no issue. My wife has no issue driving at night. If you're on the fence about it, I would honestly just say stay with the standard lights. You'll have no issue. So with the 911T, you actually have plenty of space. I've carried luggage in here. Right now I have my camera and my drone, but this has plenty of space. And hidden down here is an air compressor that a lot of people don't know about, and some new liquid to fill up your tires in case you get a flat. Of course, you have your windshield wiper. You can lift this up and you have a couple other things you can add for fluids, but not a whole bunch. Now, if you're wondering, these cars do have an automatic wing that pops up over a certain speed. I believe it's about 50 miles an hour. Some people love it, some people hate it. I'm kind of on the fence. Tell me what you think down in the comments. Are you a fan of these? So you will notice that this car on the 911T, they do have the PASM, the sport suspension really is what it is. And it does set 10 millimeters lower. When you compare it to a standard 911, you can definitely see the difference, especially in that wheel gap. Now, don't mind my little Pegasus edition. I am a sucker for heritage on vehicles, hence why I bought this 911. And I love the Mobil 1 racing history from the 90s that Porsche had, and just everything that brand and the partnership really represented back then. I think it's a very cool little touch that, you know, makes it mine. The thinner glass does let a lot of noise in, but nothing that's too intrusive. But it does make the car sound more alive, and you're more involved with the vehicle throughout. This car has been an absolutely blast, and I don't regret one thing about it. So let's jump into the interior and check out some interior options. All right, so if we jump into the driving position of this 911T, I will say that it is absolutely perfect. Steering wheel is just phenomenal, feels great in the hand. I did go ahead and spec out, if you can see, the carbon fiber inlays throughout. I want a little special touch. I think it was like $900. I really enjoy it. I don't see a lot of cars with it, so I thought it made it different. Now, something you get with the PDK over the stick is going to be, well, this little selector here. This selector will actually let you jump from, if you can see, jump what driving modes you want. So if you keep turning, you go Sport Plus, Sport, Normal, Wet, and then you can also set it for individual and kind of set it up the way you want. I mostly drive in, well, Sport, because the exhaust is louder. You get a lot of crackles and pops. If you go to Sport Plus, you actually get no crackles. A lot of people are confused. They think it's just a weird setup, but really it's just the design. It holds in more back pressures by all the research I can find. So you don't get any crackles in Sport Plus, but you do in Sport. And normal mode is very tame, drivable, makes it very easy. And then when you jump into the infotainment center, everything is really clean. I don't have any issues. I love the fact that you can actually change these up to whatever you want. I moved mine so Apple CarPlay was first, so you can jump right into it. Usually it's pretty fast, maybe not today, I don't know. But overall, it's a great infotainment center. I'm very happy with it. So if we go into the back camera, you can see, in my opinion, it's for the money you're paying for these cars, these should be better rear view cameras. I'm not happy with this camera at all. Maybe I'm being a little picky. I did option to have the 360 setup. You can have a lot of different little features. See how it warps your camera for you. Your parking assist, which is installed. You can turn off your little sound. And then here is a great feature that not a lot of people talk about. This is because your rears of the hips of the 911T, or really any new 911, appear a little bit wider, so they kind of play with you as you're trying to park. In reality, they're not any wider than the front, but Porsche has included this great little parking assist for when you're backing up so you don't hit your tires. I use this all the time and I love it. So for the 911T, you get this really great looking design within the seats. Really cool, show you a little up close. And then you get the standard logo imprint on the headrest. I did go ahead and upgrade these seats. These are the 18-way seats, and they are super comfortable. If you're on the fence, I highly suggest it. If you're doing like a track build, you can also do bucket racing seats, but that's up to you. I also added this nice little fire extinguisher. I thought it was a cool touch. But mostly the car is pretty standard all black, like most Porsches are, which looks really nice and clean. You can option out to have this painted in the body color of the car. I chose not to. I didn't like the way it looked. But I think overall, the spec turned out great. We did the red seat belts to match the red gauges, which I thought was needed to bring a little color into this cabin. So overall, I believe this car has just been fantastic. It is easily one of the favorite vehicles I've ever had, my 30 plus now and 17 years I've been driving. This one's been amazing. Now I do hear a lot of complaints on the forums that maybe it's gonna be too loud, so on and so forth. If that's the issue, go buy the Carrera. If you can afford a turbo, you know, go buy that. It's fun too. This has all the lightweight glass. I opted for no rear seats, which is a free. You can actually go back in and add them, no cost. I just like the way it looks. It adds a little bit extra sound into the cab. And I just gotta say, it's been an absolutely blast driving this car. Here in Texas, it gets all looks. Maybe if I was in California, not so much, but here in Texas, a lot of people love it, and I've met a lot of great people. That's something a lot of people that own these Porsches don't talk about. Actual owners, not just people reviewing cars, is all the great people you're gonna meet that are obsessed with 911s and the Porsche brand in general. I gotta say, I've met some amazing people with amazing cars, and I'm starting to make a lot of new friends. So I gotta say, that is a perk of owning a 911 that a lot of people don't ever talk about. So the best thing about the 2024 911T is, well, how it handles, how it rides. You have all this great feedback, even on these rough and not so great paved roads. This one, for instance, is rough rock, and I gotta say, I can feel it, but not in an intrusive way. It handles like a GTS, even some of the higher up models, the GT3s, but just all that insane power that, let's just be honest, isn't really all that usable nowadays. You get perfect steering input, nothing too rough. It's just right where you want to put it. You always feel in control, which is probably the best part about driving a 911, but the 911T kind of takes it to the next level. You have plenty of power, jumps up there, and that wasn't even full throttle. There's plenty of room to increase your power with a tune, whatever else you may want, which I think will come down the road. But right now, this car is sufficient really for anybody. I mean, even if you're looking for all the power in the world, go with a different car. Enjoy this as a daily or just a fun car to get around in. You can always go up to the GT3s one day, turbos, Turbo S's. That's where the big power is at. But this is the best of both worlds. Even on these, awkward back roads that aren't well paved, you're kind of comfortable, but you're not getting beat up. I think it's probably my favorite part. The exhaust sounds good, handles well, and it's not really too intrusive. We do have lightweight glass on this car, which I showed you, but it lets in just the right amount of noise and road noise into the cabin that, well, to be honest, is adds to the experience of owning the 911. I think Porsche just hit it out of the park with this. You have plenty of power, plenty of speed, it's usable, and it just, I don't know, it looks amazing, and plus the sound, it's actually pretty good. Yeah, you can always go do some aftermarket fun and get a lot of horsepower out of these, which I plan to do. A lot of modding coming to this vehicle, but I'm gonna try to keep it look semi-stock. If you're new, definitely go subscribe, like this, find me on Instagram, and you know what? Stay tuned because I have a lot more videos going.